Welcome back into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Brityne Rucker. One bug is causing a nuisance to both humans and livestock. To find out more about this bug, we're bringing in K-State crop entomologist Jeff Whitworth with information about the blister beetle. Jeff, obviously, we're talking about the blister beetle today. How dangerous are these beetles to both human and livestock, as I mentioned?
You know what? Blister beetles are really a unique insect. Now, I like insects, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But they really are unique because they can be a crop pest or a garden pest in the adult stage, because they generally feed on potatoes or tomatoes in gardens, or in crop fields they will feed on alfalfa and soybeans. So they like broadleaf plants, basically. That's where we get in trouble with blister beetles for the most part. If a blister beetle gets on human skin, they can cause instant watery blisters. I mean, and it burns, it hurts, as the name implies. But that's not so bad. I mean, that's a nuisance. But what is the dangerous part, as you say about them, is if they're in an agricultural field, often hay, alfalfa hay, and they get swathed or harvested up in the alfalfa, and an animal, horse, cow, goat, sheep, a lot of people don't realize they hear about horses a lot, but these horses are a lot more, seem to be a lot more susceptible, or else folks feed a lot more alfalfa hay to horses than they do cattle and other things. But they can all be very, at the very least, they can cause sickness to any of those animals, and at the worst, they can actually cause death.
How do we get rid of them?
Well, you can kill them. Insecticides work, Brityne. The thing is, we generally recommend you don't spray an insecticide because it kills them. And the body is there, and the unique chemical that they produce called cantharidin. And that can last quite a while. Generally, we recommend not treating for blister beetles. Again, you can't ever tell. The question I always get is, how many blister beetles does it take to kill a horse or to affect a cow or a goat or a sheep? Again, that depends on the health of the animal, okay? The size of the animal, it's like anything else. Some are more susceptible than others. But sometimes, it may take 300 in a leaf of alfalfa hay. It may only take 5 or 6. It just depends on, like I said, the animal, the health, and the size. But if you just leave them alone, they will dissipate on their own. They will move out as soon as the food source is gone. I know that's not always easy to do. You can't always do that. But once you put them in the barn, once you've picked up that hay and it's full of the blister beetles, even though they're dead, in a barn in the shade where there's a controlled environment, that cantharidin can stay active for up to 6 months. So you got to be careful.
Absolutely.
Out in the field, in the sunshine, it goes away within a month usually.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me. Everyone, stick around. Eye on Ag. We'll be back after the break.